We've all heard the usual decluttering hacks. Flip your hangers, fill every box that comes in. But today I'm sharing 5 tips you probably haven't heard of, or maybe just not enough. After 7 years of simplifying my own home and 3 years working hands-on in the homes of clients, I've seen what actually works and what holds people back. These are simple, practical hacks that can create big momentum and help you build a peaceful, clutter-free space. If you are ready for new ideas that make letting go easier, then keep watching. Number 1 is probably the weirdest sounding, but also probably my favorite, and that is to have a functional, user-friendly garbage system. And this includes all waste that you regularly let go of. So it could be recycling, scrap metal, shredding, compost, whatever it is that you always have to get rid of out of your house. I've shared in several videos that we get rid of a lot of trash from client homes. And this isn't because our clients are lazy or incompetent. It's simply because they don't have like an easy, user-friendly system. And this creates a backlog of stuff from both a practical standpoint and a mental standpoint. We are less inclined to toss all those little bits that eventually end up in our house if we have nowhere to put them. And in turn, letting this pile up makes us feel behind and bogged down and overwhelmed. Think of your home as a plumbing system. If water is coming out, but there's no clear path for it to drain, things are gonna back up. And very quickly, we are gonna be knee deep in water. A good waste management system is just like good plumbing. It keeps things flowing and prevents clutter from building up. And this doesn't mean fancy bins or complicated systems. I simply mean a spot in your kitchen that's easy to empty, enough garbage bins throughout your house that they can be easily accessed, having the right size bags for each of your bins, or maybe it's a sorting surface to sort all of your recyclables. Let's say we know that we have a ton of paperwork in our home office that needs to be shredded, but we don't have a designated spot for shredding. We are just gonna continue to put it off. Or let's say we have a shredding bin, but the shredding bin is in the basement and our home office is on the 3rd floor. These sound like small things, but can be a huge barrier when you're trying to tackle clutter. Or maybe we use a lot of batteries in our home and they need to go in the hazardous waste, but we don't have a system set up for that. So all of a sudden we have batteries in our kitchen drawers and we have batteries in our bathroom closet and we have batteries on our garage floor, and they just end up everywhere. And the good ones get mixed with the bad ones so that you end up throwing out more than you even need to. I think we sometimes struggle to prioritize this because we sort of feel guilty for the waste. Like we regularly get 20 Amazon boxes every month, and it's actually kind of embarrassing to face that. But I would actually argue that the more organized you are with your waste, the more likely you're going to be able to manage it in an environmentally friendly way because you have these organized systems in place. Garbage and recycling are so often these low-hanging fruit when it comes to decluttering our homes. So starting there can really get the ball rolling and help us make progress quickly. Hack number 2 can be done in under 30 minutes. It is simply to get the donations out of our house. We will often hear from people that they will get motivated to make all the decisions and they pack everything up in boxes, which is amazing, but then the items just sit. Sometimes for a while. And we have all seen all of the funny reels about not dropping off our donations for 3 months, which are funny, but I've also learned there is some real truth to this. Boxes and bags of donations that do not get dropped have 2 negative impacts. Number 1 is a mental barrier. It messes with our confidence. It feels like a job half done. We want to be proud of ourselves for making all this progress and making all these decisions. However, we know it's sort of not finished. It is still sitting on our mental to-do list. Secondly, it's a logistical barrier. It is annoying and hard to work around piles of donations that should be leaving our house. And then sometimes the donations get mixed with our keep items, or sometimes kids get into them and everything gets pulled out, or sometimes when you're waiting 3 months, you go back to pick up your donations and you sort of forget which bags are donate and which bags are keep. But on the other side of things, getting these donations out creates space, which is amazing. And it also gives us this confidence boost that motivates us to keep going. I receive a lot of messages from people who don't have easy drop off in their area or they have terrible hours, and I totally get it. But anything we can do to get the stuff out will propel us forward and get us closer to that peaceful space. Hack number 3 is what I like to call the magic curb. That is putting items at the end of our driveway for free pickup. In the past, I've talked about how large bulky items can build momentum quickly by clearing entire floor spaces. These items are perfect for the magic curb. Furniture, home renovation supplies, scrap metal, sports equipment. It is bananas how much we have got rid of at the end of our driveway. I will often bring home items from client projects that I just can't donate because they aren't fully usable. However, I know that with like a little bit of love, a few repairs, they can easily be used again. I will put these at the end of the driveway for free and they are gone so fast. Very recently, we had a broken basketball net. The backboard was cracked and I think there was like a hole in the base. And I was thinking, man, this is so bulky. It's so big for someone to pick up. We're gonna be stuck with this thing for life. And it was picked up within an hour. In our area, we also have official giveaway days that are organized by our municipality where everyone in our area is encouraged to put things at the end of the driveway that they want to get rid of for free. Last year, I just put out a giant box of random old nails and it got picked up so fast. And we do not live on a busy street. We live on a very quiet street with not much traffic at all. If you're in an area that doesn't allow this, I know that some municipalities are pretty picky. A similar option is just posting things for free on Marketplace, which we also do very, very regularly. We've also had clients who are in apartment buildings who have a similar setup but in a smaller scale. So sometimes they'll have a designated spot in a common area like a laundry room where residents can put all the items that they no longer want that maybe other residents do want. Number 4 is probably the only one that is a bigger commitment or a more drastic change, and that is to try a spending freeze. A spending freeze is exactly how it sounds. Freezing all non-essential spending for a certain period of time. You can make up the rules to suit your situation. So you can make it as long, as short as you want, a weekend, a week, a month, and you can control what categories are allowed and what categories are not allowed. I totally understand and agree that clutter coming in is much more than just what we're buying. A lot of times it's freebies, it's gifts, it's things we haven't inherited. But I also believe that what has become normal in terms of consumption is completely skewed and that almost every household could benefit from a spending freeze. We did our first one in 2019 and I would argue that it was the tipping point that took us from our old life of chaos and clutter and stress to this new way of living, which is so much more peaceful and so much less stressful. This might sound like it has nothing to do with decluttering, but there are 2 big impacts here. Number 1, it slows the incoming. And number 2, it forces us to pause and reflect on our stuff. Even if we aren't shopaholics, freezing our non-essential spending instantly slows incoming. I do not think of us as huge shoppers, but when we did our spending freeze, I was shocked how much of an impact it had. And by temporarily freezing our spending and what's coming in, it instantly forces us to sit back and reflect and think, life without all this extra stuff is actually kind of nice. Oh, wow, this weekend, instead of going shopping, we actually have time to read a book or go outside or just relax. And the beauty of the spending freeze is that oftentimes it reprograms our brain to think, wait a second, do we need to buy this? Or will we actually use this item that we're about to buy? Or maybe I could just borrow this from a friend. And ideally, this thinking carries on long after the spending freeze. If you're interested in trying this strategy, I have an entire video just on our spending freeze. Hack number 5 is an easy one and it is a fun one. And it is simply to add mini motivators. I talked about mini motivators in my recent supplies video. These are little things we add to our decluttering session to make it more fun, more bearable, or just like less terrible. This is very comparable to how fitness experts suggest that we, get a workout partner and put on our favorite music in order to encourage us to work out. But it's probably even better because you can eat and drink while you're decluttering. The ideas that we use regularly are very simple. Coffee or any of our favorite drinks will get us through a big job, especially on Fridays. Just having comfortable shoes and clothes. For a while, I started decluttering with jeans on, and by midday, I was always like, what was I thinking? Pass me the spandex. And lastly, just having company. I consider myself a pretty independent person, but there's just something about spending the day with someone that you love to hang out with that just makes it more fun and oftentimes more productive. I hope at least one of these hacks gave you a fresh, new way to move forward in your space. If it did, please hit like, subscribe, or pass along to a friend who is also on their decluttering journey. And remember, every bit of clutter you let go of is one step closer to a peaceful and clutter-free space.